I'm in Cape Town, South Africa at the Aquila Private Game Reserve. I'm sitting here with Searl Derman, who is the owner of this reserve. I first met Searl a few years back at the African Aero Defense Show, and I got interested in the concept that he created with the Saving Private Rhino. But Searl, can you tell us a little bit about Aquila Private Game Reserve?
Daniel, first of all, welcome. Aquila Private Game Reserve was started about 17, 18 years ago. And basically what we did was we wanted to reintroduce the Big Five into Cape Town, where they used to be until about 250 years ago when colonialist hunters shot them out. We bought a nature reserve and then expanded and expanded and expanded by nearby farms and other governmental pieces of land. And we're sitting on about 25,000 acres of pristine Karoo vegetation, hour and a half from Cape Town, and very, very well received. We're probably the busiest game reserve, and the most visited game reserve on the African continent. We've got the Big Five in their natural environment, very close to Cape Town. We offer day trips, overnight trips, horseback, quad bike safaris, 4x4 game drive safaris. Yeah, it's been very well received.
So one of the interesting things about the Rhino, and that's one of the main reasons we're filming here, can you just tell us about the history behind the Rhino at Aquila?
Okay, Daniel, you know, in our reintroduction to the Western Cape process, we had to literally go catch rhino, elephant with helicopters all around Africa, governmental and municipal and private game reserves. We managed to reintroduce the first white rhino to the Western Cape in 250 years. We had a very successful spree of breeding, and then tragically poachers came and they killed the first rhino that was reintroduced to the Western Cape, and they also killed the first baby rhino born in the Western Cape in 250 years.
So it wasn't just a case of poaching, because I think sometimes the word poaching diminishes what actually happened. I mean, the animals that were killed on your land was a pretty horrific incident. Could you briefly expand on that a little bit?
Daniel, absolutely. What happened was poachers came onto our land. They literally lived in our mountains for about 2 weeks, and they were very well equipped, very well organized. They attacked and slaughtered 2 rhino. We managed to save 1, and our counter-poaching teams did manage to stumble on them because they left one of the horns on one of the rhino half sawn off. And of course, with our counter-tracking, we saw that they were running away from the crime scene, not walking, and no one leaves a rhino horn worth $300,000 at the scene, halfway sawn off or hacked off. It was a horrific incident. It was widely publicized. It got, from a bad incident, a lot of awareness came out of that. Our one rhino took 6 days to succumb to his injuries on national television, literally crying like a person, just a lot louder.
Just briefly, how did they actually get the rhino? I believe they were actually drugged?
Yes, you see, what's happened was our South African military has offered the national governments, the national and governmental game reserves like the Kruger and in KwaZulu-Natal and everywhere else. They've offered them a lot of military and special forces support to protect their rhinos. Now, crime doesn't stop. Okay, if you focus a police effort in an area that's experiencing a lot of housebreakings or theft out of motor vehicle, crime just moves to the next area. Okay, and same with rhino poaching. So what's actually happened is the government effort protecting the national game reserves has put a strain on the private game reserves that are under-equipped, cannot get the permutation to carry the same sort of automatic weapons, or even difficult to get semi-automatic weapons, which has become a lot easier now. And of course, the night and thermal visions that are required, it's just too difficult for us to get. However, we're fighting a war against well-organized, well-funded, well-equipped international syndicates, and rhino horn being worth more than gold, and the returns on a couple of hours of work or a couple of days of research and work are just too big, and they can afford to get this equipment. And the same channels they're exporting with is the channels that they're bringing their weapons in and their thermal visions in, and they aren't ITAR restricted or anything like that. So they're well equipped. I mean, recently we've had cases of poachers being caught with fully automatic AK-47s, with hand grenades, and this is what we're up against. So what we did was we formed an organization called Saving Private Rhino. We focus on the private rhino. So Saving Private Rhino concentrates on equipping and training private game reserves to protect their rhino and their people. Okay, and this is not just the military tactics and the small arms tactics that allows a small number of people to fight off a larger number of well-armed people. It also involves a lot of intelligence gathering to know what if new people are in town, if they're buying drinks, if they're asking the wrong question to one of my staff in a bar after buying a drink, I know about it. And that can be a waitress, if they ask something about security, if they ask what time our shifts start, if they ask how many rhino have we got on our place, or elephant, or even the new problem facing South Africa is lion, because the tigers are almost finished. And the bones have been vetted as medicinal and with all the medicine doctors.